not work again. That a man eats grape and the sour is on the teeth of the children. It won't work. Don't think that way. God is no longer thinking the way you think. He is thinking towards this your captivity. I'm just giving you the background of that word.
Isaiah mbemiso iko kisokikodo adi wonye kinwa. Anyo ngodot lito itong lito Israelite. Mweki kere mpo na mweke sikere. Koroba si bagantroba akeke serugo. Andi diang posiro diaria den ilorodo kapadro unwen kedeme.
They were lamenting, thinking their sins has been so much that God can no longer forgive them. That imagine people taken captive for 70 years. And at that point, they felt they can't sing the Lord's song again in what? In a strange land. Frustration. But when Isaiah landed with this one, to some of them, it was additional frustration. Because he said, look, what you are thinking is not what God thinks. So maybe many of them were thinking by tomorrow they will release them. So somebody telling you, you just now say, no, we will soon go. And somebody said, my thoughts are not your thoughts. How will you feel? And not only that, telling you my thoughts are not your thoughts, he now give you a wide comparative gap. The skies, from the heavens, that is the skies and the earth. You know the distance? It was meaning that is an infinite thing. You can't measure it.
Isaiah akikere basi kabangan di Israel no more amoy ke wari swake moiti e kisong tang fe you fen se moy ke bo then Isaiah in yong isi do ko mo ko ibo dem ko yo bi sere mi den fe ya yong e ka isong ro ka basi mo ko no mbofo dem fe ya pon isong tang fe mi ro Isaiah ka pa bo mo ke basi ni kikere ino mbofo kikere basi ni ere de ti do iri den pante yong ogongo kanisong do kere ba se ko ri kere mo nsikiru fonu to kere mi itu I call me akeke nye mpo dinam ye itiero ke mo eke bara.
When God is omnipotent, is omniscience, is omnipresent.
To ita ba se ado nye do ke di on ke mpo ama ado nye do ko yo ke fritie ado nye ko nye le froruru.
He's also a God of justice. He executes justice. He's also God full of mercy and compassion. So if you look at the beginning of that writing in Isaiah chapter 1, he told them, look, there's the mercies of God coming unto you. He knows your problem.
Isaiah mfono ba se asoro dis membu kero ba se di on fun bofo.
But the thing is that you need to incline and hear his word.
Nko ke na aten fe na makero ke na aten fe suri word e yun ko bi komo
that there is hope for them.
Ki reyen mo ba ono mo.
But when you look at it, it sounds as if there was no hope. From that statement, you started giving somebody hope. And later on say, God says, my thoughts are not your thoughts. There are many that will be so confused, but those who have understood will understand it.
That's what mentions you got Isaiah getting a word of more man. I can get a more when you're up Nabasi. Sianda more Miki Pokere, more so any getting the game and form to see that we were so. Then I get down.
So when we look at this, we will now look at the love of God towards man. God created man in his image. And his thought towards him is always good. From the word go. Ayara what take a talking talk about say your yima,
Ndiye no frida imam or yowo to do kofono.
Because every other creature was not made in the image of God. It's man. So that's why when he spoke through Jeremiah at the other time, he said, my thinking towards you is always good. And not what?
Evil.
And not of evil.
Aba seke bodnyen ke mbere mo. Nyesen kinwa Isaiah nye do on di Israel bo. Ke kikere mo ke ba mbofo odo eti ilori diok.
But the issue with man is the limitation of man. That's why that gap was created. It's the limitation of man. Man cannot know the future. Man cannot know the minds of God and cannot know the minds of fellow men.
Ete mfuna wodo. Ndaka ke woda akoro. Awi ke mekeri di ongo siro kikere basi di ongo kikere wo.
So, but God knows what will happen in 100 years' time. Is that true? Eh? Yes, He knows. He knows what you are thinking. He knows what you are thinking.
Abase di ongo siri tepe ki ni so miswa ka waka ke di ki ni so. Abase tmo di ongo so fring ni kede ke set nyen. Kide mi da ki tiere mi.
The simple way for you to understand it was when Jesus was on earth. When the Pharisees who hated him were thinking something, he would tell them their minds and they would be surprised. This is something that they were thinking. He said, I know what is in your mind. This is what is in your mind and will tell you.
Ekweto ma ti ye. Ibwana do Jesus ke ni ye me scribes me Pharisees. Suki da Jesus esi odo ko mo ti kimi ni o se mbe kede ke sen bofo. Ayi de me se ngok pa mo si na ma yodi on se mo ke kede ke set mo.
I think it was only drawing their attention that they shouldn't dwell on their thoughts. They shouldn't dwell on the points they are in life. But rather they should humble themselves and dwell solely on God for everything in that land of captivity.
Isaiah ake ye me mo di onte. Mo eku wo kikere mo ke se mo enie. Mo eku kongo ke kekere sre mo. Mo nko ekenyu se ndaro ke mo ke tire me mo. Yang mo wo ngene mo se basi lo ke me ke di yang mo.
That they should see God as supreme in their lives.
Yang mo ekre basi nte ndi konkan kuwe mo.
It's the same thing with us today. The same condition. Your thoughts is not God's thinking. Just like the heaven is far from the earth. That's why when I see people try to be God, I wonder where they had that. And I saw people trying to rewrite the Bible. I wonder where they got the power to rewrite the Bible. Because they think their own thinking will be what God thinks. It's not true.
Right, so kem daro ro se nyani krirem nyen fan koro nyani si kere na nyani kekere yesi leme sim pa sim pa mi na mowo e kere na iku kapido basi mo we gbe kere na iku kanni mani weri ko basi akedo ibigido npo ke di woida.
You see, the compassionate nature of man is not the same as that of God.
Ema ebuke emo embo wo ni embo mabanga wo wi kemeke di be ndomo nte mbo mo doke basi niere abanga wo.
That of God is quite different, and you will see that when it comes to understand the end as we go on the studies this month.
Ake basi ni ukbore ngene ke basi ma di disme wo ngene kuru ukbore roke baga.
God has planned for man from his creation.
Abasenie ama ni ekikere etegere banga wo tongo ke ntongo remote.
And these plans are good plans. Like I said in Isaiah 29:11, say my thoughts towards you are good and not what? And not of evil.
Akikere baske banga wo ade ti idori diok.
Look at how God placed his arrangement towards man when he created man. He had a point of salvation if man erred. You remember when immediately man sinned, man would have gone, if it was men like us, it would have been totally throwing away the baby with the birthing water. He doesn't do that. He saw his love for man. Adam sinned. Adam did not know, was confused on what to do to cover his nakedness. But it was God that went and took what? Took an animal skin that would be better off to cover that nakedness. But man was thinking, leave will do the job. You see, man, the way he does. And he told man, look, I'm going to salvage you. throw this woman the same thing. You see the plan of God. To man, differently. To God, he has his plan. But the problem is, sometimes the execution of his plans beats the imagination of men. That is the issue now. The execution of God's plan for man beats our imagination most times. And we are going to see it in the examples we are going to take.
Taite itang yari wat imaro ke ba seniere ono wo ururo ke ba seniere ko rotonga ken tonga rimbot aba se su sonam de ke dan ni owo ru okpun bo mo ku songa ya ba se wo amana ni edi nya ide mini akpa ite nyin na ma ke ru okpun bo ba se ndi ne ye kere ke di kam kon ko ake mi di fo ifere mo aba se so ni ma abanga wo ndien anam kposi fon ana woman aka ma fo ifere anyongo si usongonam mana wo anyongo benenye abo di nyanga mfna ke awogoda ke nyini niege ntemmowo adu ke nyini to midiongo musong na ba se sionam ke buana mo yowo ye na ye yeminam kpomo.
One thing also we also see, like I said, when we're describing God, is a God of justice. He executes discipline on his children. Why? He wants to have that decorum. He wants to have that, he wants to subject man to his supremacy. That's why we get back to the background of the text. Why did God take them captives? It was to discipline them because they were wayward. They became so wayward. And he wanted them to feel the pains and then return to him. And then truly, when he saw their minds, that they were thinking their repentance was coming. That's why he said, you that believe you can come back to me. Come and drink that water that will not be tested again. He told them, though your sin be what? As scarlet. You see, but he was the one that allowed them to be taken. We'll see those examples as we go along.
Imaibe minsi tangte ka ba sero ke asere pe edine ni pe anyesen adan in the Israel eke du oro ikun bo mo edi na mi bere mo ba senam idan when edi de mo ka ti song tangfe mo ke bare bo fen etieti ado ba si aka yo ke yembom mana ye so da itie mo ntabasi anyo ono iko so mo bo ken fe ma ekpon song idi oro young Ibnemo came a Yadan Bufundian, you know, the mountain the time.
Executing judgment on Moses beat the imagination of men.
I don't never say, I can or Moses so fen, I can say, you can adusik ba wo kikereti.
Because I tell you, if I'm the one, Moses, with all the suffering Moses went through, I put him to a task in Egypt. Even the same Moses who pleaded with me to forgive those who were stiff-necked, I wanted to destroy those people. That same Moses was not spared. Have you seen God? Would that beat your imagination? His operation is different. That is a mystery.
I take kikere minto wo se ngoyok. Koro adangini amingatsenga abaseke kon Moses dongutom. Ki song Egypt. Then Moses said, "Namu tomorrow. I been the Israel. Ki sang ado young ki song engongo. Adi want to work a Moses again amma. Nto wo mingbeti yombang afanti say you can ado basi. Ibagantro. Anyo no you fen. Asang kem ki idiodo ke na makiniero."
That's why some of us sometimes will brag. And God knows the good things I've done. He will use that to save me. And some people say the grace of God is sufficient. But when he wrote to us through Peter, what did he say? He said, if the righteous be scarcely saved. He called you what? A righteous man. Did he call you a righteous man? Brother, I'm talking to people. Are you all sleeping? Did he call us righteous men?
Yes.
He said, if the righteous be what?
Scarcely saved.
Scarcely saved. 1 Peter 4 verse 8. He said, don't talk about the other people. Their own is finished. That means the judgment of God will not be according to the standard of men.
Taite ideri wat nang abase ban te di de ne gbipe. Abasi mfre mi kan nyen te moro ke inene koro na ne wo bo ke mfono basi ke mo de me. Ana awo tumo pe me ti koro iko base bo di ke di song. Edi ne wo edi bo ko ke patru senindo. Nsogo di pe myen awo nteke nyen mi tom mi sanga koro base mai ko nyen men di ne wo ke ya song eti nyen di da ubi mi ko basi.
I said 1 Peter 4:18, not 4:8. So if the righteous be scarcely saved, what I'm trying to say here is that God's ways most times do not align with the standards of man.
Taite si wa ri tanga ntom. Nte ku songo basi ko free daga. Idaga ye ndaga ke mowe si ongebun.
So understanding God's way, you should know that. Don't create your standard and say God will key into it. He will not.
Kusio usong nam pomfunam ukereka basi aya sakeri da yefo anam bosan kusong nam pomforo.
So you see that men who are ignorant of God's ways often lost out of his favor.
Moworo ake minieri fiok ibang usong basi ese duonde ne kpongbomoro ke basi niere no mo.
That's what the Bible says. There's a way that seems right unto a man, but the end of it is what?
Yes, Nico Basebu. Can you sorrow ke abanto fon Kenya no wo? Aduku tremo sedun sobo.
So, understanding God's ways is very, very important for us to know how does he deal with me? How does it work? How is his judgment? We must know that.
Taite nyeritum diongo siru songo base ya wam nyen kisang boti de memi. Abase nam podi yowo. Ube mi kwe base abadie. Men posi bide di wora dodo.
Why his ways are mystery, we can do a little comparison. I made mention of a man called Moses, who was so good, but he judged Moses. To us, it would have been very harshly. The same thing happened to the man called Uzzah. Uzzah was judged. To man, it would have been what? Very harsh. But look at the situation of the people of Nineveh. If we look at it, will we not say, is God partial? You see why his ways are very difficult for us to understand.
Taite usongo base why da usongo wo tete di tom di onkoro. Mai se na base ake nam ko ye Moses. Ake nam ko ye Uzzah. Ye na base ke nam ko yiredo ke ba no de go to Nineveh. Nyani kan teke ntenyan. Kito mi wangan koro base ke di on tar ke nam ko no ba na ke ba.
Nineveh was a very wicked nation. They were very wicked in their nature. They were people that the whole world looked at not being human beings, the way they do their things. Immorality, everything. If you read the book of Nahum, and I think 2 other books there that talks about Nineveh, you see the story of the town called what? Nineveh. But then, God wanted to destroy that nation. Called his own prophets. Go to that nation. Tell them I'm going to destroy them. You know what the prophet did? He raised his own standard. These people are supposed to survive. Instead of that, let me do what? Let me die. Instead of those people. He said, I know this God. I know you. You are full of what? Mercy. Why did God still force him? It's for us to know the ways of God. That it is not our standard at all. He said, hey, you want to die? Life and death is in my hand. Die now. The man was ready to die. He took the side of suicide. Because that was suicide. Was that not suicide? Jumping into a big sea. Jumped, that one prepared a submarine. Very fine submarine. Jump into the submarine and enjoy your sleep. to a wicked nation. But look at Moses. Very light, what we may call light offense. Have you seen the mysteries in God's ways? And then the same man was asked, and he went preach. The people were converted. Is that true? But the man of God did not want to go. What about you? You raise your standard over the sinner, bah? Do you know how God's ways are? You condemn that man that is by your neighborhood. You call the person names instead of preaching to him. Because you are what? The righteous man. Do you think you yourself will be saved?
Ini abasi sanye di yon ku songomo anyo ke bengi de medi yang obi odo nini be anye ksio isong tumo modong abu ka ke tingi ko mo no mo anye fanga ateke mo ibuki ka ke fo yo ke ye mbommi aya nyang ibunodo nsigi du biong utumfo ke ri ka ido ke di bi mabasi se ba se yeminam anye ye medi be ba se bengi yaganam anye ben nye ke su ko bioro anye na mutum ibuno de kapesek mbeme ki pidem nyen fune medu nyen isedie mbogo ufok nyen isedie emo wo ikridem nyen temoro ki fon ibogo ikrid moro temoro ke mai tak anan tengini nam ngbo isen man mo nko eni edi nya ka nyini ne.
Brother, truth about is that really there's no mysteries in God's way. Because God always reveal his secret to men. Is there any secret in God?
Taite mente ngposo basi debe ke banga basi. Koro basi ayaru songomo. Ayare eduna mpomo ono mowo.
In Amos chapter 3 verse 7 is a popular verse. God says, Amos told the people, God does not do anything without revealing his secret to his prophets. Is that true? Now, if he keeps revealing his secret, then why is his ways not understood by me?
Taite ken were mo saba seteng ikono nyin ate kabasi mbemiso anye nampo kena ayara usongomo senye binamado no me prophet tutu idangami abase so ya yaru songomo ono nditomo adu mbamedo nsiru songomo mito mi nwangawo mana wo ke mi di sanga ku songoro.
That's why Jesus told the people, you err for not knowing the scriptures, because when they start arguing who will marry a wife in heaven, Christ turned out to them and said, you people, you err for not knowing what? Not knowing the scriptures. When you don't know the scriptures, the ways of God are hidden before you. You won't know. The secret of God is there. The mysteries of God will be there. So that's why today we want to talk about the mysteries of God in his plan. The plans of God, what are the mysteries behind it? What are those things that may look hidden? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the mystery of salvation. How is man saved on a very simple way? We'll talk about those people. The mystery in God's judgments. Is there anything? How is his judgment being done? Because when we look at two things I have brought in here about his judgment, you see that to some who don't understand, it might look like God is partial or a God of double standard. A lot of people may see it that way. This was a wicked nation pronounced unknown. And these are the people you say must be preached to and let them be saved. And this was your servant who saved you with all his heart. He does one simple mistake and you discipline and deprive him. And the other one wanted to just help the act of God from breaking. His life was taken away. So, do you get confused?
Taiteu sage yemedinyanga akebedi omoba seriruo sunu bomum kitiero mpasmeye Moses asanga free sang bi to Israel ayo mo ade ina metondu reku song abasetno onye den ngini kana obi oni ni vebo edinyanga ile mini awekege don mutum ake yimi sing inside ka tomorrow then ado yara wat ken de ben pom mo dongo ke tu ku songa ba se ke nyin bide di wat ken de ben pom mo dongo ke tu ke di nyanga ken de ben pom mo dongo ke tu ko u song nanga ba se anam po yu bie di pe mo nen yai den men pom mi wat ku fo nyin di pe mpo ko fyong mi.
Today, let's look a little about the mysteries of God in his plans. Because the only thing that may be hidden to man is how God executes his plan. Not on telling us what he wants to do. We are going to see that in our discussion.
Mfne mi bide di wat men de ben poro ke sneke ken nga ba si ase nam pomo.
That will be the first topic, and then let's take two passages of the Bible. We'll read it together. Jesus made a statement to the disciples, and then Paul also re-echoed some statement to the Romans about understanding God when he was trying to compare the Jews and the Gentiles coming together. Let no one boast and think that God has rejected the Jews and accepted the Gentiles. And let not the Jews also boast that they are the only one that own God. That God has brought in the Gentiles. So, at the point he made a statement. So let's read first. Mark chapter 4 verse 11. I want us to read it together. Mark chapter 4 verse 11. This was Jesus after telling the parable of the sower. He made this statement. And let's read together. One go. And he said to them, to you it has been given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of God. But to those who are outside, all things come in parable. That means there are specific people that understand the mysteries of God. Is that true?
Tajeki tiem werero. Ebo, ken ye tomorrow ke? Abase yung onom fon. Manam mo ito may diyon on debeng poro ke sneke kabasi.
Romans chapter 11. We'll have read from verse 22 that we know very well. But I want us to take 25. We'll use the other one to explain. So that you understand that Paul understood God's mystery and he passed it on to the Romans, how everything will look like. Let's read the 11:25 together. Yes, one go. Let us take it together. For I do not desire, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise in your own opinion, that blindness in path has happened to Israel until the fulfillment of the Gentiles has come in. Have you seen that there was a mystery somewhere in God's execution of bringing in the Gentiles? He said, I don't want you to be ignorant of it. That at the time the Gentiles were so blinded, did not know that God has other people in the world. That's why I said, you are going to understand that the Israelites were blinded. They did not know that God would bring in Gentiles. They were still puffed up. Because when you read that chapter 11, it was just talking about how, using an analogy of engrafted vine. So, that is what God has made us to understand.
Tajte ki tiem werero. Ba seket monam. Mo we diyon nte kenye munwen me Gentiles. Ake abaseke ake nama adbe me Jews kenyen. Nte ke ndebe mporo ke bang edi yang me Gentiles. Ke ba se di yara what nyen.
The word mystery means hidden or known. All of us know that. There are many things in the world that are beyond human understanding. We've taken time to talk about so many of them. A very few of them now. But one of such that is a mystery that will not be revealed to man totally is the mysteries of life and death.
Tajte mensionsio ndebe mpom moba ke kongo ke abasi. Ado maru kere ke ba se mo moni de memo. Yara ki no wo ado
If God has released the mysteries of life to man, no man will ever worship God.
Akrobasi ayara ndebe mkpọrọ ke seneke ke bang wem ke ngini ruwem ayara no emo wo iba won bo ke suki wo akuno basieba.
Brethren, I said if that was done, we wouldn't have mourned on Friday. The state mourned on Friday. Is that true?
Yes.
We lost the wife of our governor, and the whole state was in a mourning mood. Even though the woman was buried in pomp and pageantry, it doesn't make sense in the sight of God. What happened is that the woman has died. What would be important in the sight of God is what? His soul. It was when I was returning yesterday from a gospel seminar that I went to present the paper. I saw a billboard. I said, wow, Bafil is dead. Another great man in this state. I didn't know the man died. I just saw the burial poster at the Secretariat Junction. I said, oh, we are losing great politicians. If God has revealed the mystery of life, do you think he will die? He will not die. Queen Elizabeth will not die. These pop stars, Michael Jackson, that thought with all the medical personnel around him, with all the good food, all the good things, he thought he would live up to 70, 80 years. He wanted to remain young in his lifetime and be singing and dancing. But he didn't cross 50. His life was not rescued. God held that for sure. And said, man, you won't know this. Man has created everything that will resemble human being, but cannot give breath to life. AI. You know what they call AI? That is man in disguise. It's as intelligent as man. Even more than man. It won't be more than man. You know why I say it won't be more than man? Man created it. It's just like us saying we can be intelligent more than God. We cannot be. That's why you see AI can be modified anytime to show you that they have what? Their limitations. They have their limitations. Artificial intelligence. Ask anything, he will do it for you. We'll just do it for you. But that's the mystery God has held dear to his heart.
Taitibo. Ke wongo ke sengkan kong nyen. Mention sio we mo wo biyofep. Edi ke kwedugo ke ba usong nangay mo wo. Akbe kana se mo we me kama. Me kwe sanu we me yak. Nyani bay kan te ke mo we bisu ke wot ino ba se. Ado ba se ke mfono mo. Na yongo may nampo ado ndi mo wem nkama.
So now, the same thing is, there are certain things that we cannot understand. We that are living as Christians.
Anye mengpong wen nyen. Akidugu wen minte mendi kene Christ. Itam mi wa anyen.
That's why the great question is, does God really has a mystery?
Nen bamero wada. Minte baske yomi asoko nie memporo ke adbeke ke nyim mo kamano ide memo.
The answer on one hand is yes. The answer on the other hand is what? No.
Iborom bamero ku bobket adu ke nie se base ngomo kama. Iborom wene bu ibara ko riba se base mi sana ki yare no nyen.
On the side of yes, I've mentioned one thing. I also mentioned that the workings of God is beyond Christian imagination. How God executes his plans is beyond our imagination sometimes.
Kubang kangkit ekiburi kem mo base mo kama ado paniko koro usong na base mai nampo ase yang wifyo.
At the other hand, I will say no. He reveals almost everything he wants to do to us and wants us to follow it and get it.
Imay buki baga se basi ammo ka mi yakino nyen inam ngini ni fo ibang ado paniko koro ba se asian nyen memporo ke binwam nyen kuwebemi.
Let us now look at some examples so that we can understand how does God work And then we get to imagine it, execute his plan in a way we don't understand, and only we understand by and by. That's how we sing in a song. We'll understand it what? By and by. Later on you understand. Let's take the case of Abraham and Sarah. It was God that told Sarah, look, and Abraham, I will make you the father of many nations, and your children will be as the sand in the sea shore and the stars in the sky. To every human being, to Abraham himself, it would have been immediately after he left there. Maybe the wife would have been giving birth like pigs. Children would have been coming. Now today with IVF, people do give birth to 9 children, 8 children. Maybe that's how it would have been naturally. But for how many years? This person has gone through menopause. Menopause has come, gone, and they were living. The other one was 100, and this one was 90. And that's when somebody come and tell you, you are going to give the birth to a child. If you were Hannah, wouldn't you laugh? Would you laugh?
I would.
If you were Hannah, you would laugh. Or maybe like I'm saying, man, you know, come here, go. But even man, young guy, man, but that's God. God said, this is my own time of doing that. See, in the time of life, you are going to see what I'm talking about. You have a child. You say, how will this one come? Abraham was a man of God. Abraham had the secret, the plan. There was a plan by God. God revealed his plan to him. But when God wanted to execute the plan, did he tell Abraham how?
No.
He didn't. He didn't.
Tete nkui ba seneke si dedi wat. Ndeka ba sema yara usomo yudwa mo no Abraham. Ateke ya tuke fo. Afre rimbon mo wo yo. Ado ba sigi dokke kenye. Nangari sang ina mempo me wo teke ye mini mempo ma di wo iba. Ko ki sego wem even ibami moy ma di kun ke mane wo ida ke moy kere keke ngwani bugi mana gina ba ndene da nye top adi semme mo ke ngwo ba sero ya wo isu iko ba sebo moy sak.
Friend, that was it. And you see, there were 3 other people that have the same issue. The woman, the widow, the woman of the Shunammite woman. When Elisha told her, you have a baby next day, he said, the man of God should not come and say something that, and mock at her. Because hope was lost. But God wanted to execute a plan through her. The Shunammite woman even had a child. And today we use the words of the Shunammite woman to console ourselves. That came to fulfillment because it was God's plan for her to have a baby. Why? God looked at her heart. We'll come to that when we talk about how you understand how God works with his plan. The heart of the Shunammite woman was pure. She was a pure woman. She could understand God's way. She decided on her own to take care of Elisha, the man of God. But God compensated her with a child that she did not have for many years. And at the same time, the child died. And there was one comforting thing. Elisha said, here, you've come to see me yourself. What is the problem? He said, it is well. And today, are we using that word to console ourselves?
Yes, we do.
We even sing it in a song. It is well. So, that was a mystery. What about the one of Zechariah? A priest of God. God had a plan that John the Baptist would come through that lineage. And they didn't have a child for many years. And this was somebody probably had been praying for others. to have children, making sacrifice on their behalf. But at the time God told him, look, Elizabeth will have a child. The man of God argued. They say his own was bad. They said, okay, you will not speak until it comes to pass. This person now was speaking with the lies. Everybody that went to the temple to make sacrifice was surprised. When they talked to the man of God, did they know what happened? None of them. But God wanted to execute his plan within that period. Until the day the child landed. They said, give the name of the child. Was he able to speak?
He spoke.
He spoke the day to give the name that was given to him.
They say, Mbogi baki dedi what? Nteka basi asi yaru somo no wo. Ndien nanga basi bisang inam no udwaka moro wo sukuwe mewo muwe mewo asi yanga wifyok. Ndeke tuko uwan shona maitado. Ake amake tiku wari swainire yen. Ndien ki sege nanga basi yaru udwaka mo usomo no wo basi se srewo. Ase du we me wo ba se di na mama ke yedi tom prophet mo nkama Elijah ase et mo nye kamaro ba se tu kero odi onye anyo ke mi da ayi no nyo ibo konye pa ndien Elijah ke temedi adi krenye bu man siro Elisha adi temedi krenye abo nye man siro anye bu ko fon ye mo ba yi ko ro ke nyen si kama ki dong idem nyene sat adang ni nyene kate mention su ku we me mi ado ba se nam ayine moru aset ndien sagaraya ke ro woro ke nyongo nam kpono ba se ba se anyongo no onye nwo teke ye no onye ayine ke di to ke nye Jesus odi wo ba ndien uwa isu anyongo from mkpo mi itepeke adang ne ba se adi dong utum eno Elizabeth ebuke fo ya mana yen anye sak ado ba se mo yinu akop abuke ru arudi mum to ke unse ne gine ro manake mo wi di on resiba usine yene nyong man and then John the Baptist manake ke nye ke mi tangi ko ne ne si ogina do nyang.
Let's look at another one. Very fine that God reveals it to him very well. The man called Joseph, son of Jacob. A dream. You'll be a king over your siblings. Did Joseph know how the plan would be executed? So Joseph, maybe it would have been a snap of the hand that tomorrow God asks one. Then they didn't have priests. It was in a patriarchal dispensation. Maybe the father will have called him and anointed him leader over his what? His people. His siblings. But it did not happen that way. But he revealed what? His secret. What happened? He was sold to slavery. At first they wanted to kill him. God said, no, you people are not there. This is not your plan. I'm the one executing it. Enter one of their minds. Remove this boy here. Why should you kill him? They said, let's sell him. They sold him out. He went to a place that he was sold. He was feeling comfortable. Comfort started coming. The Oga Potiphar raised him up above other servants. Gave him charge over everything. The plan of God differently. Satan entered the wife. Say, this man has something that God has in him. Bring him down. He said, no, woman, I can't hearken to what you demand. He was sent into prison. From prison, he was taken over to become what?
Prime Minister.
A prime minister and lead his brother. Do you see that kind of execution? Will Joseph ever thought that would be the train he has to pass through? That is the mysteries of God.
That's about same abu Joseph. Ayen Jacob. Kefo adudu ediden furukara. Ketundi toka. ado nang usong yu song nang ko ri wo iba ka ba si mi ki sian na nye ba se mo do no ire me mo ndien anye ti ri ngo ito ka akire na agbe wuro nye akire ngone nyo do ko set ebe ne yam ku fo ka ke bo ko nye de nyo kan fon ki se tu fo ye ka fo akikeri diok anyo do ko fo ko set ke mbo ka ri so e ka fo ndien akeri diok atuki diok oro Joseph kri ne mo ku fo npokobo from ukpong kokobo ke esio Joseph ediki no ntedi dem sena anya ni sang se nye ke sanga tutu nye ka pa de dem abase ma yara mkpon woro nye ke ya de dem adu song na ni se ide dem ke bas mi ki tang ni woro nye.
God told Samuel, I'm going to give Israel a new king. David issue is what I'm telling you. Samuel was human. He revealed, he said, in the house of Jesse. Did he mention it to Samuel? Who? Who did Samuel think? The first son, the second son. He went there and started looking for all of them. Until the father said, these are there. He said, none of them here. Because the spirit did not confirm who was at the final person. Spirit did not confirm. Until he said, okay, bring the one that is in the farm. That's how David was anointed. His secrets are revealed, but his execution is still a mystery to so many of us.
Tatena David, I guess sanga de dem. Akbeka do David ki David dem mo. Yenanga Samuel ide mi dem mo eke dong mutum. Ide mete mo eke kere. Pina ante David akbeka de dem ki niero.
I brought a man that all of us will also want to say, where is his name here? A man called Nebuchadnezzar. Did Nebuchadnezzar know that he was a servant of God? He did not know. He did not know that he was a servant of God. Let us read for those who don't understand that Nebuchadnezzar was what? He was one of the servants of God.
Tete yang ibere mi rogidi. Keketu mowo kibi de di woro ru Nebuchadnezzar. Anyi gidi onga keke nyodo isong utmo basi.
Let's read Jeremiah chapter 27 verse 8. I want somebody to read for me. You see, sometimes you may take a wicked position. God keeps you there for a purpose. God was looking for a way of disciplining his children. And he raised Nebuchadnezzar up. And he became his servant. You see, the plan of God, the execution of his plan was different. Israel went, started worshiping Baal. After Solomon brought all this thing and filled the place. And God was almost rejected. Ahab did the worst. God was looking for, how do I deal with these people? But you remember how he dealt with Ahab. He told Ahab, he said they will become, his prophet will be lying prophets. Ahab died. But Israel, that he misled. God raised someone all of us will call wicked. And call him what? My servant. Let's somebody read that place.
27 verse 8, Jeremiah. If, however, any nation or kingdom will not serve Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, or bow its neck under his yoke, I will punish that nation.
Read verse 6. Sorry, verse 6.
Now I will give all your countries into the hands of my servant Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. I will make even the wild animals subject to him.
You see, God gave Nebuchadnezzar power. He said, he is my what?
My servant.
My servant. Did Nebuchadnezzar know that? Nebuchadnezzar did not know. He thought he was very powerful. I want to subdue God and create another God. So the same God who used him to achieve his goal, to discipline the children of Israel, wanted to prove to him that his supremacy cannot be tampered with. He sent a whole king who sit and eat with gold spoons to go and start doing like goat. After maybe he used to sit down and chew the corn. Enter the bush and stay in the bush for 7 years. Is that true? See how God executes his plans? He said he brings you up and you start puffing, becoming something else. And then trying to make that God does not exist. You want your own God. So he wanted to prove to him till he has to confess that there is no other God. That is how God executes his plans. There is a mystery in it. His ways are not our ways.
But I don't say que could but second that Nebuchadnezzar and Dayan for more. The song to me more. Then Anam out to Kenya, Masekama, the Israeli Quib Kokuboromo. I don't wait and yet cookie them. I would look at the tuber more. I said, Yasema, Basesio, yes, and Kikot. Yes, and Kikot Kuwariswa. And so good equipment. And the guy said on the Pewu, Duke Young. I don't ba said uncle, I can even a word on the Temki song. Men the bank pockets and a gaba said, look an Antonio, idiom.
Christ, we all know that mystery, how he came. The children of Israel, in the standard of men, who come through the family of David. But God, in executing his plan of salvation, went through a very poor family. The poor carpenter, they all know. And that baffled the wise men of Israel. The Pharisees, the scribes, and the Sadducees did not understand. How can their Messiah come in that manner? They don't know how God executed it. But they knew the Messiah will come. Is that true?
It's true.
They were informed. They were informed the Messiah will come. Isaiah talked about it. Jeremiah talked about it. Ezra, the minor prophet, talked about it. Even Moses talked about it. But they still honor Moses. When the Savior came, did they see him? That's a mystery. The last is the mystery of salvation.
That's a Kessere Najis or Sangadi Mana. The Deshake getting Bara, Kufok, Mendi them to fork David again war. Adoba Sena Mana to fork Joseph. Joseph Gabaku sorority. Nanga saying okay, make dinam bomb or okay, get break if you're.
Now you see the act of salvation. People want it to be in their own standard.
Ketuke Dinyanga. Mowe Kere, who saw the young better, Nanga Moishinum, they will.
So that it will be easier. Whom the Lord God of this world wants to do what? To destroy. The gospel is not hidden. God has told us the simple way of salvation. But I tell you till tomorrow, certain people will not know how it is executed. Because they are blinded. They err because they have not known the scriptures.
That's a Abasesio, Tanyakan Yakusong. Mana wobo in Yanganum. I do to Mpo Yobi Sierra Mowo eso Ebabake, Uneditum Diongo, Mendeben Poroka Basemaka Sinum, Kabadiana.
God has given us, revealed everything about salvation, but today you see people being learned people, wise men of this world. They see the preaching of the gospel as to be very foolish. When you tell them you have to go through a simple step of baptism, say leave that one. When you just believe in your heart, you are saved. They hear that one because somebody have told them that's the right way, that's the standard of man. God will not punish anybody. There's nothing like hell. They believe it. But they will be shocked that God revealed his own way and execute his plan in the way they don't understand. But those who will understand, what do you do so that you can benefit from God's plan for you?
That's a Usoni Yang Abasesionum. Same Mona and Senam Manani Diana. But sorry, Moroke, one Moroke near if you are in Boromi. Make a two songaro. Moist Rosio Menso song when them, Mano, Ediana. Ado, Akpani Koruke, Usona the Basesionum, can you become a queen onion?
The first thing for you to be able to understand that is till death, they were till death. There were a lot of advices. I stood my ground on where I should be. I looked for a job. It was like nobody wants you. If they see me, people say they put a mask on my face. Immediately they see me, I become something else. I should leave God. A lot of people advise me, leave the church. The Church of Christ, I have not seen anything. I said, instead of that, let me die. I won't leave the church. God was taking me through a journey. And I tell you, I didn't know how he will execute it. When I say this, people who don't have that connection may not understand, but those who do will understand. I've looked for a job up to a point that I was thinking my certificate will expire. I will go on interview, pass. I still have some letters. They say you perform excellently well. They screened me till the last 6 they were looking for, from 52. They gave us orientation. We are going to travel in 2 days. In 2 weeks. Only for them to drop me at the last hour. Will you believe that God exists? I think you will want to find out. I have that letter in my file. It's not yet torn. The other day I thought I was throwing it away. I was just scanning through my file. I saw the letter from Slumbridge. I just looked at it, shake my head, and laugh. Have gone to be recruited in the Navy. My father worked in the Navy, took me around, introduced me to everybody. I prayed one prayer. I don't know what made me pray that prayer. I said, God, if joining this Navy will make me to forget you, let them forget me. Do you know that they forgot me? My father was mad, came and started quarreling with everybody. I told my father, don't quarrel. He said, why? I said, there was a prayer, I prayed. He said, you and this, your prayer and church. I said, I pray that if getting this job will make me forget God, let them forget me. People that we went in the evening, go to their hotel room, those who recruited, and they say, your son now will give me their name. That one is no problem. My father saved big people in the Navy, saved Como and the rest of them. And they give recommendation letter, and they forget you. When they do, I just laugh. I went to him and said, God does not want me to be there. So your plans, as God wants to execute the plan of your life, if you key in to the system, he will tell you when he starts coming. Those of us who were in Port know Bremer. He was from this Coruscant. He died. Took me to Bonny, to a white man that he knows very well. We were 3. To employ me. The man I never knew from Adam. Say, you? No one talked to you. Spoke in pidgin English. I thought it was a joke. Brought on, do you know him? I said, from Adam. I don't know this white man. I stood there. The man said, go. I don't want to talk to you. When I left, they employed the other 2. I think you will run away. I've traveled roads, so. But you know, one day, we came from Port Harcourt to bury, I think, the mother of a sister. We passed through Aka Road. I saw a signpost, and it was told me, when I say you walk in this place, I said, what kind of message is that? We went, returned to Port Harcourt. That message keeps disturbing me. I have to travel back from port and look at that place very well. And it's my area, means of Petrudo. So you walk here. I was just passing. But you know that is where I started working. Relocated me from Port Harcourt to this place. For what? What I'm doing now. And the day they told me you'll be this, I said I don't want. They told me you'll be like Jonah. You've not heard that story before. Those who come to prayer, they will know. I got it sound and clear. The only person I told was my wife. My wife said, this one when they say you'll be like Jonah. So you must commit yourself. He will reveal himself to you and take you through the roads. I tell you, walk. God has planned for every one of us. But the execution of that plan, some of us lost out of the favor. Because we don't know the mysteries in his plan. But for you to be there, you must be committed. to that. You must also be very patient. It might take a very long time. Look at what happened to Joseph. Look at what happened to Abraham. Look at what happened to so many of them we have mentioned. The Shunammite woman. Look at what happened to Zechariah. Did it take time? Was it your own time?
No.
1,000 years is one day in the sight of God. And one day is like what?
1,000.
1,000 years. So you don't know. What makes so many of us fail is we are not patient to allow God's plan be manifested in our lives.
I say, according to what Mbu Wememo, saying, I guess Sangabuyo, and then Kitty Tomawanye, and take a basket bearing a Yenamano, Utumoyan is conam, Mflemi. And then you know, a young boy tak and anting, it's a medium. Siru Rabas women, can anting is sunny fuck Kedina Mutmobasi. Kedina Madu, Yenisa, you free me. I often bossy the Kusong and Joseph Eke Yoro, and Abraham Ake Yoro, the Sagaraya Ake Yoro, and then it's medium, Kenyan Abasi, 1,000 Iswa Kate, 1,000 Iswa, Abante, Usenke. Then Usen getting Abante, 1,000 Iswa, Kabasi, Anye, Uruakeba women. I don't know song, you don't know what I was saying. Yari what, Kenya Porodio.
I said the mystery in God's plan for men is to establish and prepare them for their to cope with the blessings. You must be spiritually strong enough to cope with that plan God has for you. And you must go through some journeys.
And I say, singing Yemiduku Wememi, and you song nine in the Bisangidu, and then Ananyan Ikodiki Wida Kerugo, Abasema Ben Nido Kitieru. Ngini keme rimo memborum kama nyong yo midomodo keseneke keset.
But let me tell you, if you don't feel the pains of another man, you cannot know what the man talked about. That's why Jesus has to come on earth. He said he was a man like us. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15. He said he was a man like us. Feel the pains we feel. Was hungry like we were hungry. He was able to live sinless. He was to come and train us what it means to be a man and now to be sinless. But then in my journey, my travels, I've been a beggar. Those I told her, no, I have begged for money. 50 naira was what I was looking for. I couldn't get 50 naira. I was going looking for a job. And my money finished in the last morning. I took the last bus to Lagos from Port Harcourt. They asked me to come to Victoria Island to scout for a job. My hope was in a brother, a friend of mine. He's in Umuahia now. That immediately I drop at Chojo Show Market. I just go to Chojo Show Market, where he was working. I was selling. He was a trader. He's the one that always accommodates me when I go to Lagos. Only for me to arrive that day, the man did not come to market. And there was 0 naira in my pocket. I have a file containing my certificate and my degree as a petroleum engineer. I walked the entire road, whether somebody will see me on the road. I just said, Brian, from 5 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., I didn't eat food, didn't bath, couldn't get 15 naira. I didn't know how to beg. I came back to Joe, I walked under a bridge. One day, I now take courage, went to a naval man, said, please, I want to go to Yanakwaja, where he lives. Those of you who know Lagos, can you trek from Ojo to Yanakwaja? Can you trek? Nobody could trek. And I say, the man said, look, my friend, the entire officer in Lagos, every bus will carry one officer free in the bus. That was what was going on in Lagos that time. I don't have money. It's okay, don't be annoyed. Because I was afraid, people thinking I'm a dupe. And I went to a police officer who was conducting traffic. I went and begged. The man pulled on it and I have only this one naira. The other one is 50 kobo. The other one naira. He said, that's the only money in my pocket. Now wait. There was a cobbler who was making shoes at that place. I know why I'm bringing this story. And that man, I didn't have the boldness to go to that cobbler. I went back and sat down in a bench. At a point, one man said, why not ask this cobbler? Hunger, stress. I traveled all the night, I didn't sleep. But can you 15 naira pot? Wow, more than 3 times, pass, go. After some time, see again, you know, with my red file, they will understand now there was a file that was giving you this thing. And in our file, Zenith Bank in Port Harcourt, from Zenith Bank. Do you know, they brought the cobra now, brought 15 naira and gave to me. I wanted to enter the bus that was loading. I saw a conductor, come here, come enter my bus. I said, this one is there. I said, come here. And I passed like they ordered me. Go, they said, sit down, I won't carry you. We went to prayer meeting so that people would be comforted. When we went on the way, remove the 15 naira, give the boy. He said, no, my spirit said, may I carry you? I don't want to collect money from you. I said, eh? He said, that was why I said, come and sit. I mean, they see you. My spirit said, carry that man. The conductor, not even driver. He didn't collect money from me. So was 15 naira what? Richer. So what am I saying? Brethren, God prepared people in a way. You see, like this place I'm saying, I will know when somebody is hungry. You can get tired like this, my friend, and tell me you're hungry, I will understand, because I passed through it. Do you see why God asked me to pass through that? I've been sick to death. My mother is there seated. She was the one carrying me, a graduate, with my younger brother who is a medical doctor. Sit me on a chair every day to bath me. I wasn't a baby. Was sick for 6 months. Her tie was my support. Brother Ekman can tell you that the church in Port Harcourt has to send somebody to come and see whether I'm dead or alive. They prayed for me. Sister Mercy is there. Mention name. But do you know what God allowed me pass through that? I didn't know. Did I know He had a plan for me? That I would sit where a sick man will call me. Because I felt sick. I should have compassion on one. The sick. You see the training? I've been unemployed. When somebody tells me he's unemployed, I know what it means. I've been hungry. So if somebody says he's hungry, will I know what hungry is like? Yes. Not like I think Max Romeo, I think that was the name. West thing, Asian baby don't cry. For American baby don't know what hungry is like. Those of us in the old school, we know that song. It said, Asian baby don't cry, for they don't know what hungry is like. Asian baby don't cry, for they don't know what suffering is like. All they know is mommy, nanny. Somebody that know only mommy and nanny, will you know what hungry is like? Brethren, I'm talking about the mystery of God's plan for your life. You can pass through the fullness of fire. He wants to train you for you to appreciate and know how to manage the blessing at the end. It is to test your faith, whether you still maintain that faith in Him. That's the time He wants to know whether you are what is in your mind is real. Will you deny God on that training? Did Abraham deny God?
No.
Eh?
No.
Did Joseph deny God?
He did not.
Did he pass through some hard times?
Yes, he did.
So what about your life? Brethren, that is the message. The message is that God has planned for all of us, but there's a mystery in him executing that plan, you may lost out of that favor. Because his ways are not your ways. His thoughts are not yours. His standard is not your own. God bless us in Jesus' name.
Taite avasenie eti urwa ke bang wem nyen kereket. Ado na ye dinam odwa ado owosu nyen idiong okay. Ibiong tum nyen ado nyen dinam pon no nye. Kini ekemme kini odioko me kini ofon no. Avase ya na modwa mo suku wem nyen. Anyong imam nyen akama ibe kenyang Jesus Christ. Amen.
Any query? Yes, we have a hand back there. See at that back.
Church, good morning. Polycarp, thank you very much for the lesson. But I still have a little thing that I want you to clarify. Please, I want to know, I'm using the case study of Jonah. I want to know, did God still force people to do things? Because if you look at the case of Jonah, he was forcing Jonah to do something. Thank you very much. That is what I want to know. I want to know if God really do force people today to do his will. Thank you.
All right. Is there any other one? I think that's all. God is our creator. He knows how to use us. He can force you to do something for him. How? He compels you. That thing he didn't want to do, you still do it. He can do it. He has the power to do everything. So you can't deny him that. So that is a simple answer. It does not change. He compelled, he brought this thing on table and changed his direction. Paul, he changed the direction of Paul. Paul was going the wrong way. He said, look, oh yeah, not with this way I treated you for. You are doing it fine, but it's the wrong way. And how did he tell him? Why did you persecute me? That's what he told Paul. Paul said, who are you that I'm persecuting? He said, I'm that Jesus. Did he turn the clock for Paul? Yes, he did. He did. Okay, I have two written ones. Please, what are the mysteries of God in this generation? That some Christians die very young than the older Christians. Those are seen more than, maybe it's a sin more than the sin of the old Christian. The prophet lived very old before they died. Sorry. Who told you that young people did not die before now? How old was Jesus Christ? Was Jesus Christ a young person or an old person? How old was John the Baptist? John the Baptist was a young person. The idea is not how old you live or how old you are or how long you live. The issue is that if you have finished your work, God can allow you to go. Let's read Isaiah 62. Is it 62 or 57? Verse 1 and 2. Let me get it right. He said people will not lament why good people die off. And they said, why? Why is it so? He said, because they have not known that God has called them to rest.
Yeah, Isaiah 62 from verse 1.
No. I want to get it right. It's not 62. Sorry, I'll get it. I'll give it to you. But that's what that place says. That place says, why should the young and the good people die and people don't ask questions? He said, God has called them. so that they will go and rest. So when you look at life, it's not how long you live. It's how well you live. How do you fulfill your plans on earth? We are all pilgrims. When we finish, we'll go. It's not because of your sin that you die. I've given Jesus died at 33 years old. I think this person died at 30, John the Baptist. Died at 30. But they were the forerunner of our salvation. They weren't old. So when you talk about old prophet and the young ones, that's not the issue. Priests are by the mystery of God using the dust in making man in his own image, and decided to use one of the ribs from Adam and make the woman. What are the significance of the dust and the rib in the mystery of God? Okay. The first significance is to make the woman to know that it was out of the man. And that makes the woman to be in subjection to the man. But the significance of it is this: for God only created a man. And that's why a woman and a man, they were in one body. And that one body made them the image of God. That's why when you read that passage of the Bible, it says, in the same day made him, make them male and female. That Adam was male and female. He only pulled out the female part of Adam and called him what? A woman. He created only one man. You see, that's why they say the man should be in subject to the woman. Let's read the subjection both in physical and in spiritual. Not this equal right thing. When you read 1 Timothy chapter 2, you find out that in that chapter 2 of 1 Timothy, that issue echoed. Somebody should read 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13.
1 Timothy 2:13, and it reads, "For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not the one deceived, but it was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner."
Who was deceived? The passage I was looking for that time is 57. That is not what I want you to know. Read the next verse. I want to read 2 verses so that we can get it right.
1 Timothy 2:15. "But women will be saved
No,
through..."
the next one after the 13.
Okay.
14.
14. "And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner."
Okay. The first one is that for Adam was formed first. When you read 1 Corinthians 11, verse, I think 9, it said, for the man, the woman cannot be ahead of the man. Start from verse 3 to read. Let's read 3 a little bit down.
1 Corinthians 11 from verse 3, and it reads, "Now I want you to realize that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is man, and the head of Christ is God."
The head of the woman is who? You see the subject all down? See where the submissiveness comes. When you go there, it says, but then there will be no man without a woman. Go down a little.
4. "Every man who prays or prophesies with his head covered dishonors his head."
Last 2 verses. The next one talk about the woman.
From verse 8.
Uh-huh.
"For man did not come from woman,
Yes.
but woman from man.
Uh-huh.
Neither was man created for woman, but woman for man."
Do you understand there now? The questioner. Is it clearer? So the significance was what God has said. There is the Bible for you. They are all there for you to understand. The passage I was looking for that time was Isaiah 57, 1 and 2. He said, "The righteous perish, and no man lay it to heart. And merciful men are taken away, not considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come." That is the essence, that good people may die young. doesn't mean you have to live in the whole world. He shall enter into peace. They shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness. I was looking for that. It's 57. It wasn't 55. I think those are the questions. God bless all of us and help us to live a life to fulfill God's plans in our lives in Jesus' name.
Ya ba sa wam nyen. Ayong wam nyen ko yai du wem man udwa mo wo su. Kenyang Jesus